before we switch back to.
Hello. Алло. Кстати, подожди. Дайте мне перезайти через вот. Стоять. Стоять.
The left spike has been grinded into a nub.
We got big problems. The spike is nubbed out.
Flat tire. Anemometer destroyed. Back hatch leak.
באורל-בי יודעים שלכל השיניים מגיע ניקיון מושלם ועדין. ראש המברשת העגול של אורל-בי.איו מתאים את עצמו בעדינות לשיניים, מנקה גם אזורים שמברשת ידנית לא מגיעה אליהם, בזמן שהחיישן דואג שלא תפעילו יותר מדי לחץ. לשיניים 100% נקיות יותר. לניקיון מיטבי מומלץ להחליף את ראש המברשת בכל 3 חודשים.
גלו את הטעם האהוב של שוקולד מילקה בגלידה. גלידת מילקה, להתענג על הרגע.
This is a Toyota Corolla A86.
But not exactly from a Toyota factory.
This A6 is from China, aka top-notch classic car parts.
Meaning a completely brand new chassis, allowing us to build the car however we want.
And building a car from scratch.
For part 1 of our A86 build, we tore down our beat-up Corolla and transferred all of the key components onto a fresh chassis. Along the way, we upgraded the engine mounts, brakes, wheels, and loaded it up with a ton of new suspension parts. And now it's time to push this build even further. Today, we're going to be installing our 500 horsepower K20 and build a fuel system to support it.
We have a mountain of parts laid out here and a lot of work to do, so let's get to it.
Here's our plan for this project. Step 1, we're gonna get our engine and transmission securely mounted in the car. Step 2 is gonna be to mock up the engine bay with all the components we need. We're gonna modify the chassis to properly fit our fuel cell. Then we're gonna fit in a roll cage, get our seat setup dialed in, and lastly, we're gonna get the body kit on this car and get it ready for paint.
Real quick, the Throttle Throwdown is approaching us very soon on May 2nd. We're bringing the Throttle Throwdown to life. If you guys haven't heard about it, we're hosting a huge drag race event outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And what's cool is we're also co-hosting a huge car show with the team at McGuire. So if you want to submit your car or truck to be in the car show, we're open to any make or model, and there's some awesome prizes for the winners who win in all of the different categories. So I'm really excited about it. We'll put the link in the video description and a QR code on screen. Register your car for the car show. show. I cannot wait to see what you guys bring.
Prevent them from rusting, we have to use this seam sealer here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start applying this to all of our custom paneling, and that way we can get it to paint.
גילוח איכותי הוא הרבה מעבר לעיצוב שאתה רואה. הוא התחושה הרעננה של גילוח מדויק פעם אחר פעם אחר פעם. ג'ילט לאבס, מכשיר הגילוח הטוב ביותר שלנו, מעניק לך יותר מ-30 חוויות גילוח חלקות בכל סכין, ועד 50% יותר זמן מהסכין הנמכר ביותר שלנו. ג'ילט, the best a man can get.
אירוקה אופטיק דייז, 1 ועוד 1 מתנה על מגוון משקפי ראייה. אירוקה אופטיק דייז.
I need to record some bad vlogs. Let me explain. All right, so why do I need to upload bad vlogs? The reason is because, as most of you know, I am preparing to move my entire company down to Houston, Texas from here in Pittsburgh. And one of the things we want to do is record and upload some moving vlog, behind the scenes type video for setting up the new office. You know, my office here in Pittsburgh is not that big, but we're moving into a huge open warehouse and office building down in Houston. And I kind of want to document what that process looks like and show you how we set it up for both filming and the pre-built side of the business. But as you can probably already tell, I'm not good at vlogging. It's not exactly what I do. So the mission is basically to just practice vlogging over the next couple of weeks. So I'm just gonna take you all with me while we're still here in Pittsburgh. And we're gonna get the bad vlogs out of the way. That way, by the time we get to Houston, hopefully I'm a little bit more comfortable talking in front of the camera. But speaking of that move, let me quickly show you what the Pittsburgh office is looking like. Apologies in advance. It is not looking clean and tidy because we already started packing up, but we got a long way to go. Let me show you. So we're in my office right now, and as you can tell, I already started packing stuff up. I used to have some nice furniture out here and whatnot, but this is what the temporary setup is looking like. Yes, I do daily drive a MacBook Pro. Also, temporarily reviewing this Gravistar keyboard. I actually really like it. Usually I just use the MacBoard keyboard, but this is what I'm going with right now. But outside of my office here, this is pretty much our current filming setup. Definitely started packing this away as well. But this huge open room is mostly just B-roll, and it's set up in a way so we can shoot from different angles here. This is one of the typical shots for the short form content, which you may recognize. We just got a black backdrop over there. And then over in this room is our A-roll and streaming room. I did not do a ton of streaming from here, but this is typically where I will sit for the long form videos. I'll watch myself over here on the TV, and then this is the camera that I've been using for all of our short form content. All right, moving along here. This is our main office area. And the first one here is Nick's office. He is our builds operations manager. He also does all of the refurbishment and repairs in case if a pre-built customer has an issue. We got to get rid of a bunch of these broken cases over here. We got our printing set up for labels and whatnot. This is Aiden's office. This is for packing. As you can tell, these are the pre-builts. that he's got packed up and ready to go to customers. This is his whole packing area over here. Right next door, this is our config room. This is where all of our pre-builts go for stress testing, configuration of Windows and whatnot. See, as you can tell, we use OCCT. We usually have a lot more builds here, but we're kind of winding down right before we leave for Pittsburgh. These are all the boxes and they're all clearly labeled. Over here is our videography room or editing den. This is where Jake and Brian sit. They're in here most of their days just cranking away on editing the videos. We also got some broken hardware that I'm trying to sell. They got to take pictures of that. But yeah, that's the editing den. And then here is our miscellaneous room. We got some break room stuff over here, the refrigerator and whatnot. This is where we do a lot of the benchmarking. This is our extra storage area for basically YouTube content or anything for the office. And then this wall actually looks really weird now that I'm looking at it. This is usually completely lined from floor to ceiling with case boxes for pre-builts, but since we aren't ordering any more right before we move, this is empty. And this is like the first time that I've seen these blinds in a really, really long time. This looks super crazy. And then we actually got to walk down the hall to get to our building side. This is pretty much all pre-built stuff right here, but this is the main build room. We have room for 4 people to build all at the same time. Right now they're on standing desks. We're gonna convert that over to workbenches once we get to Houston. This is our inventory room, just like the case area. This is looking pretty bare, honestly. I know there's still, yeah, there's quite a few GPUs over here, our white RTX 5060 builds, also 5070s. Those tend to sell pretty quickly. We have a little bit left of a RAM supply. These cases are full of like 50 sticks of RAM, so we still have a somewhat healthy amount, but this whole area is looking pretty empty compared to what it usually is. This is just an extra room. This is our queue shelf of builds. This is usually completely lined up with builds like this. That way our builders can just come and grab what they need. We usually fit 3 per shelf, but again, kind of looking a little empty. This is where some of the builders get their like admin work done. And then this is just a super ugly extra storage room for packing supplies, boxes, whatever else we need. So yeah, that's pretty much the entirety of the Pittsburgh office. I think right now we're at like 35 or maybe even 3,000 square feet. Our new office in Houston is gonna.
All right, what's going on, guys? In today's video, we get 2 PCs sold. We get a pretty good deal, I would say, and we also get to build a PC. So let's go.
What's going on, guys? We are currently in the car on my way to go pick up a deal. We got a 9060 XT. It's a pretty cool deal that we got going on. Anyway, we're paying $900 for it, so I'm excited to pick that up.
All right, guys, I got the PC picked up, and what we got here is a 9060 XT, 16 gigabytes, 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM and 600 million transfers. We got a 7700 CPU, and that's pretty much it. We got some good fans, decent case. I don't know if I'm going to use it yet, but we paid $900 for it, so I think it's pretty good.
לכל ילד השיניים המיוחדות שלו. אנחנו באורל-בי דואגים שכולם ייהנו מחיוך בריא. המברשת החשמלית המתקדמת שלנו מסדרת I.O. מנקה פי 2 יותר טוב ממברשת ידנית, ומגיעה למקומות שבהם מתחילה הששת. והיא גם מומלצת על ידי רופאי החניכיים. חיוך בריא וללא חורים מתחיל עם אורל-בי I.O.
הלוואה ממקס בפריים פלוס 0% על 10,000 השקלים הראשונים בלקיחת הלוואות של יותר מ-20,000 שקלים.
Have you ever opened YouTube and seen those insane gaming PC, thousands of dollars, running everything in 4K? And then you look at your desk, and it's just a cheap office PC. Yeah, I've been there. This one, I picked it up for just $55. Nothing special, not even close. But instead of wishing for something better, I decided to upgrade it, push it further, and see how far it can really go. Not just to make it playable, but to chase something way bigger, 4K gaming. So the real question is, how far can a $55 office PC go before it finally breaks? Let's find out. But first, take a look at what I got for $55. This time, it's not one of those tiny compact systems. This is a mid-tower PC, and it's not some outdated machine from 10 or 15 years ago either. This is still a very usable system, even by today's standards. The model is Dell Vostro 3088. And yeah, on Amazon. I've seen listings as high as $799, while over on eBay, it's closer to $200. The reason for that price? It can come with a pretty valuable CPU like the i7-10700. So why did I only pay $55 for mine? Well, now here's the catch. The seller told me the system doesn't boot. I don't know exactly why yet, but we're about to find out. Inside, there's only a single 4GB RAM stick. Not much, but I'll deal with that later. There's also no storage at all. It still has a slot for a DVD drive. But let's be honest, who even uses that anymore? But here's the interesting part. It has an NVMe slot and a full PCIe by 16 slot. You already know what I'm thinking, and the system comes with a proprietary 260-watt PSU, which is fine for office use, but definitely not enough for what I have in mind. Alright, before checking what CPU is inside, let's plug it in and see what actually happens. No way. This system shows absolutely no signs of life. At this point, there are only two possible culprits, the PSU or the motherboard. One of them has to be dead. So I tried swapping in a different PSU. And oh my god, the CPU fan spins up. That pretty much confirms the original power supply is the problem. So I pulled it out. And wait, I can smell something burnt coming from inside. Yeah, something definitely shorted or fried in there. I opened it up to take a closer look, and at first glance I couldn't see anything obvious. No major burn marks, no exploded components. But then, hold on, look at this. There's a part that clearly shows signs of damage. After checking the label on the board, I saw the marking F, which means this is a fuse. So yeah, that most likely the previous owner overloaded the system and the fuse blew. The good news is everything else still looks intact. So I'm going to try replacing this fuse. I'll salvage one from another broken PSU and then swap it in to see if I can bring this unit back to life. After soldering the fuse back in securely, it's time to put everything back together just like before. And now, the moment we've been waiting for. Let's power it on. 3, 2, 1. Look at that. It's alive. You have no idea how happy I am right now. I honestly didn't expect it to be this simple, but somehow, I just brought it back to life. Alright, next step, I'm going to install a drive and see if everything runs properly. This is insane. Everything actually works. And then I check the specs. Inside is a Pentium Gold G6400. And wow, this thing is painfully weak. Just 2 cores, 4 threads. Yeah, the clock speed is decent and sure, it's a newer platform for the channel, but performance? It barely hits 1,100 points in benchmarks. That's honestly embarrassing. The only thing going for it? It's extremely power efficient. But let's be real, I was terrified to throw modern games at this thing with that weak iGPU. So I booted up Minecraft, and immediately it was struggling. With single-channel 4GB RAM, the system is basically suffocating. The CPU and memory are slammed at 100% nonstop, and the FPs? A complete mess. It tanks below 10 FPs at times, literally unplayable before crawling back up to around 30 to 40 FPS. It feels unstable, jittery, just rough. Then I tried CS2, and that's where everything completely collapsed. The FPS can't even stay in double digits. It stutters, freezes, and within seconds of loading into a match, it just gives up. I dropped it down to 720p, hoping for a miracle. But nope, it's still stuck around 20 FPS and it feels awful. At that point, I was done. There's no saving this experience. You've seen the performance, and yeah, it's barely acceptable for Minecraft. But for modern games, not even close. And my goal isn't just playable, I want 4K gaming. So yeah, it's time to upgrade this thing. The good news, the space inside this case is actually amazing. I can upgrade pretty much anything I want without cutting or modifying the case at all. That alone opens up a ton of possibilities. First upgrade, the CPU. And honestly, this one hurts a little. It still sells for around $30 on eBay, so yeah, I'm going to flip it and put that money towards something better. I'm upgrading to an i5-10400F for about $80. This is a very calculated choice. I'm on a tight budget, and going with the F version saves me around $20 since it doesn't have integrated graphics. And let's be real, if I'm aiming for 4K gaming, the GPU matters way more. So I'd rather save money here and invest it into the graphics card. Next, RAM. And honestly, gaming on 4 gigabytes, single channel in 2026, that's basically a crime. It absolutely kills performance. So I'm upgrading to 16 gigabytes.
החלק הכי חשוב ביום שלך הוא הדרך שבה אתה מתחיל אותו. דאודורנט ג'ילט אקטיב פרוטקט החדש עם הפורמולה הטובה ביותר שלנו, אשר מגן מפני זיעה למשך 72 שעות ומאפשר לך לפרוץ את הגבולות שלך ולהישאר מוגן. ג'ילט אקטיב פרוטקט החדש, the best a man can get.
Two times 8 gigabytes, which costs around $70. That alone should make a massive difference in stability and overall performance. Next, and this is the most important upgrade, the GPU. With only a 260-watt PSU and no power connectors for a graphics card, plus the fact that this unit already showed signs of burning before, there's no way I'm pushing it to the limit. That's just asking for trouble. So I needed something efficient, low power, but still capable. And the perfect fit here is the RTX 3056 gigabytes. With a 70-watt TDP, it doesn't need external power and the system can handle it safely. You can find used ones on eBay for around $170, which makes it a solid value pick. Now, the only way to really know if this PSU can handle the load is to test it in real games. So let's start again with Minecraft. Oh no, the CPU is only running at 2.9 gigahertz. That's way lower than what it's supposed to hit, around 4.4 gigahertz. And yeah, I've seen this before. This kind of issue usually happens on pre-built systems. The BIOS and power limits are often set very conservatively to protect the hardware, keeping temps low, improving stability, and extending lifespan. So basically, it's being throttled on purpose. The fix, I jumped into the BIOS and enabled Turbo Boost, and just like that, the CPU jumps up to around 4 gigahertz. Now we're finally getting the performance it was meant to deliver. At 32 chunks, the FPS has jumped massively compared to before, up by nearly 200 FPS. The experience now is buttery smooth, and the crazy part, the CPU and GPU aren't even working that hard, pulling only around 80 watts combined. To get a more realistic test, I turned on shaders. And even then, FPS stays around 60. It feels smooth, responsive, and most importantly, no stuttering at all. This is the kind of experience I was aiming for. Now let's go back to the game that completely broke this system earlier. And yeah, everything is completely different now. At medium settings, FPS sits around 200, and even during fast movement, the dips are minimal and barely noticeable. The experience feels smooth and consistent. Next, I pushed it further with Cyberpunk 2077. At low settings, the performance is actually surprisingly strong, with FPS hovering around 90. The only downside is the CPU temperature, which can spike up to around 80 degrees Celsius at times. But for a story-driven game like this, you don't really need ultra-high FPS. This is already more than enough. But here's the thing. Everything so far has been tested at 1080p, and my real goal is 4K gaming. So I tried it at 4K, and yeah, that's where things start to fall apart. FPS drops by about a third, down to around 30. It's still playable, but clearly the GPU is being pushed to its limits. And honestly, I don't want a barely playable experience. I want something solid. So yeah, time for another upgrade. This time, I'm focusing only on what actually matters for 4K gaming. And the first thing that has to go is the GPU. The RTX 3056 gigabytes is great for 1080p, but let's be honest, it was never meant for 4K. So I'm stepping it up to an RTX 3060 12 gigabytes. You can find one for around $300, which is definitely not cheap. But if I want real 4K performance, this is a necessary upgrade. Now for the power supply, there's no way I'm trusting that old sketchy unit anymore. It's already shown signs of failure, and worst case, it could damage the entire system. So I upgraded to a 600-watt SFX PSU for about $60. Luckily, the case still has just enough room to fit it. Since the original system uses a proprietary 6-pin power connector, I had to use a 24-pin to 6-pin adapter to power the motherboard properly. Another concern I had was cooling. The stock cooler gets pretty hot under full load, and I originally thought about swapping in a bigger air cooler, but it's just too tall to fit inside the case. So instead, I went with a heatsink that has a thicker metal base. In theory, that should improve heat dissipation without increasing the height. And now everything is finally in place. As you can see, all the components fit neatly inside the case. I can close it up completely, turning it into a clean sleeper PC. Alright, time to see what this thing can really do at 4K. Starting again with Minecraft. At 32 chunks, FPS stays above 200 consistently. This setup handles it effortlessly. So I pushed it further with shaders. Even at just 8 chunks, the GPU is fully maxed out, and FPS drops hard to around 30. Power draw goes up to about 170 watts, and at that point, it's playable, but not exactly comfortable. Next up, CS2 at medium settings. FPS sits around 150, and honestly, this configuration has no trouble at all. The CPU holds FPS very stable with no major drops. If you want even higher FPS, you can just lower the settings a bit more. And finally, Cyberpunk 2077 at low settings. Overall, the experience is surprisingly smooth and stable, with FPS around 60 most of the time. Even in heavier scenes, it doesn't suffer from major drops, which is really impressive for 4K on this setup. So in conclusion, if you're only targeting 1080p gaming, something like an RTX 3056 GB is already enough. But if you want to push into 1440p or 4K, you'll need to spend an extra $150 or so on a better GPU and PSU to get a solid experience. And with that, I've officially turned this system into a 4K capable gaming PC. Up next, I've got a few more crazy upgrade builds you can check out right here. No need to leave the video. This computer right here cost me $30 on eBay, and today I'm going to show you what it's actually capable of, plus how spending just a little more money can turn it into a machine that runs modern games. I'll even show you how it's possible to fit a high-end graphics card into this tiny case. At first glance, it looks like Recently, I came across this PS4 Slim, and for some reason, it just wouldn't work. At first, I almost sold it for scrap, but then I had a different idea. I've seen people turn broken consoles into gaming PCs before, and it's always impressive, but most of them rely on external power or integrated graphics, so I wanted to push it further. What if I build a complete PC inside this PS4? With a real GPU, a proper power supply, all packed inside the original shell. And the goal? Keep the outside looking as close to stock as possible. So today, that's exactly what I'm going to try. Let's get started. And here it is, the main character of this build. From the outside, it actually looks pretty clean and well kept. But as soon as I plugged it in and tried to power it on, nothing. Completely dead. I'm not a professional hardware repair technician, so instead of trying to revive it, I decided to move on. My mission now is to tear it down and reuse what I can. First, I remove the top cover. Just by gently pushing at the corners, it pops right off. Next, I take out all the screws holding the top panel in place. Once that's done, I disconnect the battery, then I move on to the bottom cover. To remove it, there's a key screw near the hard drive area that needs to come out first. After that, I carefully pry up both sides and slide the panel backward to release it. Now you can see everything inside this PlayStation 4, from the motherboard to the optical drive bay. And wow, there are a lot of screws. I had to deal with nearly 20 of them. I'll fast forward through this part, but after quite a bit of effort, I finally removed all the screws, took out the motherboard, the Blu-ray drive, and basically stripped the entire system down. For this video, I'm focusing on turning this shell into a PC build, so I won't go too deep into each individual component. And here it is, the PS4 case. As you can see, the space inside is extremely tight, especially the height. It's only about 4 centimeters. That alone makes this a pretty big challenge. So here are the components I
So this is an older PC I built on the channel, and it's decently spec'd with a Ryzen 5 7500X 3D processor, 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, and an RX 9060 XT. It's honestly a pretty nice starter system. However, it is fugly, doesn't have much of an upgrade path, and it can't play my favorite games in 1440p high setting. So we're gonna give it a massive makeover, except we're only gonna upgrade what matters. With the current RAM and storage prices, it doesn't make sense to go out and buy new parts when we can just reuse the ones we already have in the system. I've met so many people on Flip or Flop that would sell their AM5 PC and use the money to buy a new one when they could have saved so much money reusing some of the components. Now, ASUS did send in all these parts and sponsor this video so that we can give this PC a facelift. And if your PC needs a facelift as well, then you're in luck, because ASUS is hosting a massive giveaway campaign where they're giving out tons of awesome prizes, like an ROG Astral 5080 and Thor 1200 watt power supply combo, various high-end CPU motherboard and cooler bundles, and more. Honestly, this is one of the giveaways where you guys shouldn't sit out on just because you think you're not gonna win.
Ballerina cappuccino.
קולגייט אופטיק ווייט פרפל ריביל. הסגול מבטל בן רגע כתמים צהובים על השיניים. Hello purple, hello shine.
Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new episode of I'm broke and I need to post something so I can make money this month. And guess what? You're watching that episode right now. This video has absolutely no effort put into it. It's just me talking for like 3 minutes straight. I know there are way worse issues in the world. You know, polar bears are dying because of the atmosphere. But you know the problem that makes me afraid? Greenville car removals. The $1 million question is, what's the next brand? Dash got removed, so you know what's next. The time I feel, you know, the bomb is ticking, so you know it's just a matter of when it explodes and what explodes. We don't have many car brands anymore, like real car brands. We used to have Mercedes, we have VW, we have Ford, we have Porsche, we have Nissan. The big boys, the big brands are still there. If you need a short answer, I genuinely don't know, but I can do the calculations for you. If somebody had a gun to my head and said, say a brand that might get removed, it's probably Nissan. Why, you ask? It's a Japanese brand. They're always, you know, strict. ChatGPT said this. This is my prediction that I think it might be VW.
This might be the most ridiculous PC upgrade you could possibly make, and that says a lot considering how many ridiculous PC accessories.
Moderate TC.
In Riverside, California, July 25th, 2022, Riverside police responded to reports of 2 home invasion robberies at a mobile home park on Atlanta Avenue. As officers arrived, they learned the same suspect had just carjacked an Amazon delivery van and fled the scene. Using GPS, police tracked the stolen van while receiving multiple 911 calls reporting the van crashing into parked cars along Arlington Avenue. Officers located the van near Arlington and Victoria, but the suspect refused to stop, initiating a pursuit.
Copy. All right, he's going over the center divider. Units stay on the right side. We got it for you. Wrong side of the road. Speeds are about 45 miles per hour runway. Almost TC'd into a white car.
Copy.
Air 1, we're going to take care of that for you.
Copy.
All right, just TC'd into a car, gray car in the intersection.
It's no medical aid for that TC at that intersection.
Air 1, we're on readiness TC'd. Moderate TC on the freeway right there.
On that car.
Just TC'd really bad again into another truck. Vehicle's going to be disabled. We're going to keep an eye on him. He's hopping out of the car, going to go northbound across. As the suspect continued fleeing in the stolen Amazon truck, he crashed into multiple vehicles but showed no signs of stopping. Eventually, one of the crashes caused the truck to become disabled, forcing the suspect to bail out and flee on foot. Across the freeway, we got him. Be able to hop this wall just north of you guys.
Air 110 is your name.
All right, they're making contact with him now.
32-year-old Quentin Jarnell Larks of Las Vegas was arrested, medically cleared at a local hospital, and later booked into the Robert Presley Detention Center. He faces charges including attempted murder, home invasion robbery, carjacking, assault with a deadly weapon, reckless evading, and DUI causing injury. His bail was set at $1 million.
קרן אלטשולר שחם משולבת תל אביב, במקום הראשון עם כ-142% תשואה בשנתיים האחרונות.
On October 24, 2024, an Arkansas state trooper was on patrol when he was dispatched about a stolen pickup truck in the area. Moments later, a truck matching the description sped past him. Without hesitation, the trooper flipped around, activated his lights and sirens, and just like that, the chase was on. Seeing how dangerous the suspect was, Trooper Randall wasted no time. He positioned himself quickly and went for a pit maneuver at the earliest opportunity. Trooper executed a pit, causing the suspect's vehicle to roll over before coming to a stop. Even a tire was seen rolling down the road. Both the driver and passenger were arrested and taken into custody, bringing this wild chase to an end. On October 20th, 2022, U.S. Marshals requested assistance in apprehending a murder suspect from Indiana. Agents had tracked the suspect, 36-year-old Irvin Robertson, to a residence in Gwinnett County, Georgia. As surveillance confirmed his presence, Robertson exited the home and left in a 2022 Dodge Ram, registered in his name. Corporal Anthony Munoz and a Trooper Smith located the vehicle at Georgia 20 and Stanley Street. A felony stop was attempted with emergency lights activated and patrol cars positioned. But instead of complying, Robertson chose to flee, there initiating a pursuit.
Gotta get him stopped. Right here.
From the very beginning, this chase spiraled out of control. The suspect began swerving into oncoming traffic, driving in the wrong lane, and weaving all over the road, showing zero regard for the safety of anyone around him.
You still on the the wrong side of the road, past the Sugar Hill Road, past the Sugar Hill. Fence rail, now he's coming back across the median. Wrong side of the road, past the Sugar Hill. Be careful, red light 413. Windermere Parkway. Just a second, haven't gone to another street yet. I'm trying to get around all these traffic. He's still on the wrong side of the road. Possible. He's still on the wrong side of the road. Victoria Drive. Coming out to Holly Court. Holly Court.
And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, he ran a red light and caused a horrific collision, putting innocent lives at even greater risk.
Samples Road, crossing across Samples Road. 1050 Samples.
As Corporal Munoz and Trooper Smith followed, Robertson suddenly turned and ran back, seemingly heading for his vehicle. Concerned he might be retrieving a weapon, Trooper Smith drew his pistol to a low ready position, while Corporal Munoz had his taser in hand. Realizing how close the troopers were, Robertson stopped and laid prone on the ground. He was taken into custody without further incident and handed over to U.S. Marshals. In Mayflower, Arkansas, on Sunday, January 8, 2023, Faulkner County deputies attempted to stop a vehicle driven by 53-year-old Michael Helton, but instead of pulling over, Helton hit the gas, sparking a high-speed pursuit that ran through the streets of Conway and into the back roads of Faulkner County.
Meadow Hill. 67 on the rock. See if Conway gets some spikes. I don't know if I'll be able to hit him or not. Damn. We are east on Oak Street. Speed 45, no traffic.
While other deputies were racing to set up spike strips, the pursuing units gave it everything they had to stop the truck before it reached them. But with a vehicle that size and a driver this reckless, it was like trying to stop a runaway train. This suspect wasn't going down easy.
Coming up on Simcoe. There's another shot. Coming up on Julian Drive. Still eastbound. Bobby. 7 miles an hour, no traffic.
Even though the deputy attempted a pit, it just wasn't enough. On these narrow Faulkner County back roads, trying to line up next to a massive truck like that is no easy task.
Still eastbound, 300. Do it. In or out. That'll be Clinton Road and just in case. South Taylor Road eastbound, speed 70. Tower Road. Speed 20.
Even that wasn't enough to stop this determined suspect. With no signs of giving up, deputies knew it was time for Plan B, the spike strips. A few minutes later, one deputy managed to set up perfectly. As the suspect flew by, the stop sticks did their job, finally deflating the tires and giving deputies a real shot at ending this chase.
Bye. 89 Road. We're going to be going west on 89. Spike. Son of a... Out of the left door, whatever. Spike.
During the final moments of the pursuit, Helton pulled out a firearm, prompting 3 state troopers and 1 Mayflower police officer to open fire. Troopers immediately attempted life-saving measures, but Helton was pronounced dead at the scene. On October 1st, 2023, a South Carolina Highway Patrol trooper attempted a traffic stop on a gray pickup truck for speeding. The driver initially pulled over, but just moments later hit the gas and fled the stop, triggering a high-speed pursuit.
1057 vehicle, 101, 18, taking the exit 18 on the 85 northbound off-road, going back onto I-26.
What's your speed in traffic?
Light, he's stuck. It's 1050 in my car. Get out the car! Stop the car!
Stop receipt for Jamaica and Israel.
Southbound. Wrong way on. He's going wrong way, I can pit him.
The suspect began swerving across lanes, even taking the chase off-road and onto the grass, clearly willing to risk everything to escape, no matter the cost.
I'm trying to pit.
What's your speeds in traffic?
No traffic, speed 48 and climbing.
What's your speed?
1050.
What's curve 1020, speeds.
Taking a ride on North Blackstock.
After turning onto Bonnie Plants Road, the suspect managed to slip out of the trooper's sight. Despite a thorough search of the area for the next 10 minutes, both the truck and its occupants had vanished. With no further leads, the pursuit was ultimately terminated. On June 27, 2022, in Lenoke County, Arkansas, Trevor Strickland stole a dump truck. Definitely not your average getaway vehicle, but that didn't stop him from leading Lenoke County deputies and Arkansas state troopers on a crazy chase.
He's passing cars in the opposite lane, southbound, coming up on Carlo. We're southbound on Lingo Road.
As the suspect began dangerously weaving through traffic, putting lives at risk, one trooper stepped up with stop sticks in hand. Now picture this. You're that trooper, standing just feet from the road, and a massive dump truck is charging straight at you. What's running through your mind?
Eastbound. We're going back south on Lingo. We're making a circle.
South on Lingo.
Still southbound. Speed's about 75.
One trooper tried to block the path with his patrol car, hoping the suspect would finally give up. But instead of stopping, the suspect floored it, ramming straight into the cruiser like it wasn't even there.
He just totaled out 58 unit.
A bystander caught the shocking moment on camera and uploaded it online. Within hours, the video went viral. Meanwhile, the chase was far from over. After the suspect rammed a patrol car, Captain Mike Hager broadcasted a clear message to all units to take him out as soon as possible.
We're still on Carson Bridge. Actually, we're very close. I'm on west on Carson from Big Bang.
6555188. To launch a personal assistant on your connected phone, press and hold the voice button on the steering wheel.
When Strickland turned onto Charlie Loop Road, troopers aimed gunfire at the dump truck in an attempt to bring the dangerous pursuit to an end. At least one round struck the engine compartment, causing the truck to slow down and eventually stop on Carson Bridge Road.
625, you still rolling? Yeah, we're rolling at about 5 miles an hour. Get some handcuffs. Get some handcuffs. You got it.
Strickland was not injured and was taken into custody without further incident. Originally charged with attempted murder, theft by receiving, and felony fleeing with serious injury, he later accepted a plea deal through his attorney. Strickland was sentenced to 180 months in the Arkansas Department of Corrections with 609 days of jail time credited. He also received a suspended sentence of 60 months and was fined $485. On April 8, 2025, Trooper Adrian Belcher received a call from dispatch advising that the Dardanelle Police Department was involved in a vehicle pursuit in the city of Dardanelle requesting assistance. Dardanelle advised the initial reason for the stop was defective equipment and that the passenger in the vehicle threw out suspected illegal substances. The suspect vehicle in the pursuit was a green Chevrolet S10 single cab pickup traveling south on State Highway 7.
When these spikes in the lower were successful, they're still southbound going forward.
I'll stop at 13 or catch it.
800 dispatch. He's going to hit on all four tires, what it looked like.
State's primary. 13 call.
We're east on North 2nd Street. Personnel units, that will be direct. That will be direct. Passing Gold Street on 2nd Street. Tim. Attempted TBI. TBI. Temple.
Once Trooper Kyle took over as primary unit, he executed a TVI, pushing the suspect vehicle off the roadway to the left. The driver, later identified as Craig Sebastian, fled on foot but was quickly apprehended after a short chase and physically restrained. The female passenger, Michaela Bowden, immediately surrendered and was taken into custody by Dardanelle police. The Chevrolet pickup was towed by C&C Wrecker, and Mr. Sebastian was transported to the Yell County Detention Center. Ms. Bowden was cited and released for littering. Craig Sebastian was charged with fleeing reckless driving, failure to obey, stop sign, driving on suspended license, and driving left of center.
If you don't have a website for your business, it might as well be invisible.
On Thursday, April 10th, 2025, Trooper Tyler Riles was traveling northbound on Interstate 57 and exited onto McCain Boulevard. As he approached the intersection at McCain Boulevard and Landers Road, he noticed several patrol vehicles with emergency lights activated and a silver pickup truck weaving through traffic. To help manage the intersection and potentially redirect the fleeing suspect, Trooper Riles activated his emergency lights. Trooper Riles then informed ASP Dispatch that North Little Rock Police were actively pursuing a silver Ford F-150.
You 10 forward me.
Vehicles with emergency lights active formed a Vehicles with emergency lights active formed a
You 10 forward with me, going ahead and going 1037 with it. He's continuing, we're at 50 miles an hour northbound, he's not stopping.
After realizing the driver had no intention of stopping, despite multiple patrol cars behind him with lights and sirens activated, Trooper Tyler Riles moved up alongside the suspect, trying to find the right moment and position to bring this dangerous pursuit to an end.
Pull over.
Traffic 56 secondary. Copy CDR 729.
Get out! Get on the ground! Get out the car! Really? Y'all come down here! I'm in Sherwood.
The driver, later identified as Mary Weatherspoon, was seen yelling profanities, making obscene gestures out the window, and even brake-checking Trooper Riles while fleeing. Weatherspoon was taken into custody without further incident, and the scene was turned over to North Little Rock Police.
פרסיל. כשמעשים טובים משאירים טעמים קשים, תסמכו על פרסיל ג'ל. Run! Swing, 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 ching! I'm losing!
What? I'm a wizard. Wait, what the fuck? What? That's pretty good. Ah, 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 ah. Run!